This is the first time I've ever told anybody this story because I feel like people would have thought I was crazy before, but now that I'm an adult, I realize what was going on. When I was about 7 or 8, my mother got an overnight job, and that job required her to, of course, work 12-hour shifts overnight. Naturally, she didn't want to leave me by myself, so she found this woman who would watch me overnight. She would feed me. I have my own bed over there, my own room, everything. So it worked out perfectly. She was the first person to teach me to go outside and take my shoes off and put my feet on the grass because the electrical charges will go through your body that are from Earth, and that's part of staying grounded. I said all that to say, as a child, I didn't really realize what was going on until I saw people coming overnight to ask her spiritual questions. I lived in Florida, so considering the fact that people would drive all the way from South Florida, West Florida, Alabama, Georgia to come see her was a big thing. But there was one guy in particular that always stuck with me, and I could never really tell anybody because I felt like people wouldn't understand. He came to her to seek spiritual advice because his side chick was pregnant and his wife of 15 years was about to leave him. She gave him steps on how to solve this problem, but she said, and was very clear, you have to fix this problem. I can't fix it for you. You have to learn this lesson in order to be freed of all these problems. He was very excited about it. He said, thank you so much for your help. I'm going to go start this. And then he left. I don't know what the time frame was because, again, I was like 7 or 8, but it had been a long time. I'm going to assume it was about a few weeks in between because I had forgotten about him. He came back to her and was like, it didn't work. I tried everything that you told me. It didn't work. She listened to his grievance and didn't say much. The whole time she was stoic. But the first thing she said to him was, where do you live? He said that he was living with the mistress, and her response directly was, you did not learn your lesson. That's why it didn't work. So now, naturally, he's upset because he feels like she's giving him bad advice. When she said, the very first thing she said was that you have to learn your lesson in order for this to work. So he's still living with this woman. He's still frolicking with her, but his life is in distress. He's falling apart. So she gives him some more instructions and says, go do this and you come back and let me know how it works. But it will not work if you don't learn your lesson. He says, okay. He leaves with the instructions and I never see him again. So now at this time, it's been months later. I distinctively remember it being months later because I had to wear a jacket to go to the salon with my mom. We went to this hair salon and there was a TV on the wall. I was watching it and the news came up. I see this man's face on the TV screen and I'm like, that's the man. But I'm looking to my mama. I can't really say it to my mama because my mama doesn't know what I'm talking about. She thinks I'm crazy. I was like, that's the man that came several times. He ended up murder-suiciding his side chick and himself. I remember not being able to express that to my mom because I knew why he did it and I knew all the background as to what happened. I learned a valuable lesson that day, and that is do not mess with spirituality unless you're really willing to put in that work and learn the lessons along the way. Otherwise, it will backfire.